evening, this is Chuck W30N. I'm operating as W30C, net control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club net. This radio net meets every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club repeater system, operating here on 147.12 megahertz. And we're also on Echolink. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. If you'd like information about the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https://trarc.org and also on Facebook. Radio Club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month except in December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Plano Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. Door open is net for check-in at emergency or priority traffic. Okay, none heard. All right. All right. Does anyone have the listings of Silent Keys and the radio amateurs who recently passed away? I hadn't heard of anything. Okay. All right. That's a good thing. I'll be taking some check-ins here in a moment. Please, when you check into this net, keep your call sign slowly and phonetically. You may spell out your call sign. And let me know if you have any announcements or comments for this radio net. Okay, we're going to take some check-ins here in a moment. Okay, are there any officers at Two Rivers ARC wish to check in?
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob and Elizabeth Township. Good evening, Chuck. Evening to the net, no traffic.
3OC. Please recognize November 3, Juliet Hotel Bravo, portable out here in Pleasant Hills, along with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening to everyone on the net, no traffic.
Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo and Company, KB3WP, WP Delta Tango Papa. Anybody else from the Two Rivers Board of Directors? All right, okay. I'm going to do mobile portables and outside Valley County here in a second. First, I want to take a standby. See if anybody's on Echolink. Anybody on Echolink, check in now.
This is Kilo Charlie 3, Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff and Irwin. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chuck. No messages, no traffic.
Please copy Kilo Charlie 3, Papa Lima.
All right, okay. Maybe we'll get some more in there a little bit. All right, now I'm looking for stations operating mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County.
Net control. Net control, please copy Kilo Alpha 3, Yankee Golf Lima, Bruce in South Connersville. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net. No further comments.
Net control. Net control, recognize Kilo 3 Charlie Romeo Oscar John Baldwin. No comments, no traffic.
Control. Please recognize November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. That's N3PAU Norman Penn, Westmoreland County, portable. Good evening, Chuck. No traffic.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Antonio portable here in Pittsburgh. Good evening to Chuck and those on the net. I have no traffic.
Okay, that time I got Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform portable, November Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie portable. Thank you. Anybody else mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County?
Net control. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
Net control is Kilo Alpha 3, Echo Kilo Oscars, Sabino here at Township. Becoming unexhausted from a long day in Dayton on Friday. Had a good time, but no comments, no traffic. Thank you.
Okay, that time I got Kilo 3 Charlie Radio Oscar, Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform, Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Portable, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, and Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar. How the hell we miss you out there at Dayton, Sebby? Didn't see you. Okay, anybody else, a mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC. This is Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff and Irwin. Good evening, everybody. No traffic for the net.
Okay, got you, Jeff. KC3 Zulu XND X-Ray. Anybody else? Hey, we'll open up for general check-ins. Anyone else like to check in has done so? Call now.
W3OC. This is WA3ILU, and I think we both had a good time at Dayton. Just should have spent more money.
W3OC. Here is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, Merlin, Elizabeth Township.
W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 Victor Yankee Mike Wes from Jefferson Hills.
WOC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim in Carnegie.
Hey, this is W3OC. Here's what I got. America 3 India Oscar Uniform, Kilo 3 Hotel, India Radio, Kilo Charlie 3 Victor Yankee Mexico, and Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. Anybody else?
Net Control. Net Control, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 India Romeo Golf. This is Ed in McKeesport. Good evening to you and everyone on the net.
W3OC. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sierra Papa for a recheck. I think I missed your acknowledgement.
Okay, alrighty. See, I had Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Golf, and I had Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. I got you in there, Jim. Thank you. Anybody else, please? All right, well, we'll stop at that point. Thank you all for taking the time to check us this evening. Or if you're not checked in, but just listening, that's okay too. This is an information net more than anything, and it's not a BS net like many other nets are. It's more information than anything else. It's for both the Two Rivers Club, among other things. The radio club itself has a lot of functions it does during the course of each month. We have 3 other radio nets besides this one. Wednesday nights is the Tours ARC GapNets, an informal group. Meets on this repeater at 8:30 p.m. Here on 147.12. Of course, Echolink too if you're on Echolink. The Thursday nights at 8 o'clock up on 10 meters at 28,460 on single upper sideband. Welcome to join us up there for that. And on Friday nights, I don't think we've been running it lately, but we're still scheduled for a 40-meter net at 6 o'clock p.m. Up in the phone band on the 40-meter band. I personally haven't been on it for a while, so I'm not sure if there's much going on with it, but it's still scheduled. We have other activities during the course of the month. On the second Thursday of each month, we have a thing called the Operations Night. We meet up at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall. They're on Liberty Way. It's on a side street off of Liberty Way, 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. We get on the air on HF, and sometimes we have speakers. We have some subjects that are brought up for discussion. And we get on the air and operate on the HF bands with a club called W3OC. And it's not just for members. If you wish to come up and operate or get some experience, you can certainly do that. We have the capability of at least 4 HF bands up there. A lot of times we do run digital FT8 sometimes with the system we have. If you're not familiar, we might be very interested. We use one antenna. It's a Hustler 4BTV vertical, and it uses a gizmo called the quadplexer, which allows one coax feed and one antenna to operate multiple bands at the same time with different transceivers. So, well, we do that kind of thing too. And then on the second Saturday of each month, we have a social gathering called the Hams and Eggs Breakfast. That meets over at a local restaurant. Currently it starts at 9:30 in the morning, and we're currently using the Rock Run Inn. That's a restaurant located in the Butler's Golf Course, right off of Route 48, and they call it Elizabeth, PA, right there. But you're welcome to join us for that. Of course, we participate in other activities. We do participate in the ARL Field Day, which is the next activity coming up on the last full weekend of June. This year we're scheduled for the water tower site located in White Oak Park, located near White Oak, PA. I think the address is Irwin, PA, but it's located right off of Carpenter's Lane, they call it, near very, very close to White Oak Park. So you're welcome to come out there and join us for that and operate, or just come out and visit. You can certainly do that too. Let's see. We also participate in the PA QSO party. That's usually in October. The winter QSO winter field day event that's in January. And many of our members operate other various activities on the HF band, some with and without the club participation. But welcome to join us for any of this kind of good stuff. Of course, like I said, we have monthly meetings up at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department on the third Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. So welcome to join us for that too. I think they're okay. Well, all right, so you're welcome to join us for that kind of stuff. So we're a fairly active group. Welcome to join us. Of course, we have a Ham Fest once a year, usually in the early spring, which we just had, and now on April, I think it was 5th this year, and that's already done and over with. That's quite active in the area. So you're welcome to join us for any of this kind of good stuff. That's stuff that the Two Rivers Club does. At the regular calendar of things coming up, let's see here. This weekend coming up is the CQ Worldwide on the HF band. CQ Worldwide Worktalk Prefix Contest. I think it's CW mode. So there'll be a lot of activity on the HF bands. Good chance to brush up on your CW skills, and also make contacts. The purpose is to collect prefixes, worldwide prefixes from the various countries. Like here in the United States, we use mostly the K and the W prefix. There's also a series of A prefixes in use also. Like if you're in the UK, they use a lot of G call signs and M call signs, and number 2E and 2A for their prefixes. I guess the idea is to collect as many prefixes as you can, and also to have fun and work DX. That's just coming up this weekend. So that'll start Friday night, probably at 7, I think, and runs till, I think it's a 48-hour event. So you're welcome to join us for that. Let's see, I got a note here. It says the Cambria County, a club up there, Cambria County, I forget what they call themselves, is having a special event on May 24th through June the 6th on the HF bands. It celebrates the 136th anniversary of the Johnstown flood. The call sign they're going to be using is November 3 November, N3N. So that's coming up on the 24th and to June the 6th. So that's starting up this weekend. Okay, looking at the calendar of things coming up, let's see, June 8th is a Breeze Shooters, Hempfest-wide Breeze Shooters Hempfest is coming up. The Butler Farm Show grounds at Butler, PA. Have a big, long flyer, lots and lots. It's the biggest Hempfest here in western Pennsylvania. Welcome to come out there for that. That's at the Butler Farm Show grounds up at Butler, PA. I think it's off of Route 422, I think they call it. Go to their website to see their flyer. They have tons and tons of prizes and so forth. They have an indoor and an outdoor exhibitor area, or flea market if you want to call it like that. So if you have stuff to sell and you want to take it outside, you can. There'll be tailgating capabilities there. Let's see, June the 10th is the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club exam team has an exam session, amateur radio exam session. Starts at 6:30 p.m. at the McKeesport Area High School in Eden Park Boulevard, McKeesport, PA. Okay, you may wonder why we do that and we don't do that up at Lincoln. Well, we've been doing this. The radio club exam team's been meeting up there at the McKeesport High School for many years, so they just keep the practice going. And their exam sessions are about every 3 months during the course of each year, plus at the Hamfest, of course. Now, the radio club is currently running an amateur technician classes. They have a couple more weeks to go. I think this Thursday and then one more week after that. They're going to have an exam session, amateur radio exam session at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall up there on Liberty Way. I don't know the time yet, but it's probably going to be in the evening after 6 o'clock. So if you wish to take an exam, you can certainly do that. Best thing to do is to contact the coordinator, Mike KV3L, and for more details on that. I don't know what's all required with it, but you can reach Mike by phone at 412-751-9657. Might have to leave a message, and he'll usually call you back. He's the coordinator for that kind of stuff and for all of our exam sessions. You get into July 20th is the Somerset County Amateur Radio Club Hamfest at the Somerset County Tech Center, 251 Technology Drive in Somerset, PA. Get into August 9th. These are Hamfests that are local. Hamfest is Uniontown ARC Gap Fest at their club grounds. That's located on Old Pittsburgh Road in Uniontown, PA. On the 24th of August, the Skyview Radio Society has their swap and shop at their club grounds, located on Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA. It's right off of, I think they call it Route 380 or something like that. So then you get into September a little bit. The Butler County ARC has their swap fest at the Unionville Volunteer Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road in Butler, PA. I got a note here also. They're looking for help, operators, amateur radio operators, to help with the June 21st and 22nd Westmoreland County Air Show. I think the coordinator is Kilo Echo 3 Papa Oscar. They got a website, www.WC3PapaSugar.com, I think it is, on the internet for more information on that activity. They usually have about 20-25 operators to help with communications. It gives you the activity, to go into there for that. Okay, let's see what else is going on. A brief update on the Dayton Hamvention, which Gino just made comments to a little bit ago. I was one of 6 people from the radio club that I know of that attended this year's Dayton Hamvention. We were there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Stayed overnight in a hotel a couple nights, and very nice affair. Weather was it was nice, but very windy, especially on Saturday. On Friday it was a little on the warm side, but on Saturday and Sunday it was both windy both days, and there was no rain or anything like that. The flea market was absolutely full of stuff, all kinds of good stuff. You could, if you were looking for something particular, you probably could have found a deal up there. I don't know. I wasn't looking for stuff like that. The indoor exhibits were full. They had 5 buildings up there because they used 5 exhibit halls up there on the grounds, and every one of them had an exhibitor on there, or even ever 3 or 4 ham radio dealers up there, including DX Engineering, Gigaparts, Main Trading Company. I can't remember. There were some others too. We're selling stuff there too. There was all kinds of stuff. And if you were interested in that kind of thing, we did Yaesu, Kenwood, and ICOM had big, huge presentations there. We did get to see the new Yaesu FT-DX1. I think it's called the FT-DX1, which is now, I think it's going to, in my opinion, it's going to be probably one of the biggest sellers in amateur radio market, probably in the next few months. It's being advertised pretty much in the ham magazines and on the internet. It's what we lovingly call a radio in a box. It does 160 through 70 centimeters, and various band switching stuff, and it's very small. I think the price depends. They had 2 different models. One was a low power model, like it's 20 watts, and there's one that does 100 watts. Of course, the difference in price was probably $50 or $60. No, more than that, $400 or $500 more. So that was very popular. Also, ICOM is showing they were showing their ICOM 7760 HF transceiver, 200 watt transceiver with all the bells and whistles you can think of. It goes from I think it's 160 through 6 meters. That was very, very nice to see. Lots of antenna manufacturers there, add-ons for amateur radio equipment, all kinds of good stuff. Just about every amateur radio manufacturer had some form of a presence up at Dayton. They had a lot of forums going on too. I did not get to attend any of the forums, but I know there was an FCC forum, a DX forum, among other things. There's all kind of specialized various things too. So there's a lot of things to do. So if you're thinking about attending something like that, think about next year, 2026. As far as I know, they're still scheduled for the Greene County Fairgrounds up there in Xenia, Ohio. So you might think about that. I know a lot of people who were there this year are already talking about next year and making reservations for hotels. And, of course, the ones closer to the convention center, of course, are the ones most desired. So it's a nice affair to go to. All right, that gives you kind of a report on some of the stuff I did. I will tell you that while we were there, we did meet some DXers, world famous DXers, if you want to call it like that, if you're into DXing. There were at least 3 or 4 operators there that are going to the Bouvet Island, BOUVET DXpedition in February. It's number 2 or number 3 on the most wanted DXCC list, for countries to work, and they're making a full-blown operation of that. I found out stuff there I didn't even know. They're going to run 2 radio sites from that remote island there in the South Atlantic. So it's going to take them almost 10 days to get there by ship because there's nobody lives there. And we also got to meet and talk to and had lunch with one of the radio amateurs who's very, very active from the country of Malawi, I should say, Malawi. That's in Africa. His call was 7 Quebec 6 Mexico, 7Q6M. He's an American who's been living there for many years, and he promotes amateur radio over there, among other things. And he's got a foundation that's used to supply educational capabilities for some Malawi youth, I guess you'd call it like that. So if you go look at his website, he's got a thing up on QRZ. Look for 7Q6M, I think. I don't know, but yeah. So that's something that we did too. There was all kinds of DXers walking around up there. Every time I turned around and looked, I was bumping into one of them. So that was a very, very nice affair. All right, let's see. At this time, I don't think I have any more to report. If I can think of it. Don't forget the Two Rivers Club meeting is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department at 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth. You're welcome to come out there and join for that, 7 o'clock. Okay. I'll take a standby to anybody who repeats for anything they've heard. This is W306.
W3OC, this is M3JPQ. Kurt in North Versailles, good evening.
Okay, got M3JPQ. Hi, Kurt. Nice to hear you again. Anybody else?
Checking in. Walt Clerton Works. Good evening to you, Chuck, everyone on the net.
Okay, there's one of my Dayton buddies, Alpha 3 Mike Radio. I guess it sounds like you're on Echolink tonight, Walt. Okay. Anybody else? Let me switch this thing over to Newsline. We'll get that hooked up to the radio here and see what it's got to say tonight. It's W3OC.
Newsline report number 2481 with a release date of Friday, May 16th, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The IARU looks to merge its independent regions. Record numbers turn out for a ham radio exam in Bangladesh, and the ARRL asks the FCC again to increase technician privileges on HF. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2481 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, weekly amateur radio news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Picayune, Mississippi, here is Don Wilbanks, AE5DW.
Our top story this week is the International Amateur Radio Union. Marking 100 years of representing member countries around the world and coordinating frequencies and other concerns, the organization enters its second century with one big change on its mind. We have those details from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Imagine for a moment an IARU without separate entities known as Region 1, 2, and Region 3. Imagine a total restructuring that would create a single global entity, erasing the discrete regions separated by oceans, languages, and cultures. The IARU has announced it is considering just that and has released a proposal to unite the independent regions as one, combined with the International Secretariat to streamline decision-making, to better coordinate shared concerns, and to bolster membership in regions where it is declining. The IARU's administrative headquarters is presently based at the ARRL in the United States. The IARU has released guidance on potential restructuring to help the organization meet modern challenges. The proposed changes would combine the three separate regional organizations into a single global entity. The proposal, PDF, outlines a number of areas where the currently independent regional organizations struggle. Problem areas include declining membership, duplication of resources, lack of coordination, and other various inefficiencies. The changes are designed to establish a number of benefits. This overwhelming change would not happen overnight, of course. The IARU will be asking member societies to vote after they have reviewed the consultation on restructuring, which is available on the IARU website. Any changes that are approved would not take place before next year. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
If you were lucky enough to work HV5PUL in Rome recently, you were part of this small university-based station celebration that a new pope had been elected. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us about the activation.
2 days after the conclave of cardinals had elected Pope Leo XIV, amateur radio station HV5PUL, the Pontifical Lateran University, was on the air in the Vatican city-state in the heart of Rome, celebrating. The station's administrator, Luca della Giovampaola, IW0DJB, reported that traffic was lively on 20 meters SSB and 17 meters FT8. He said that the simple 100-watt station logged an estimated 400 contacts in 4 hours. Propagation was challenging, and so with the exception of one Japanese station, all the contacts were within Europe. It's not often a new pope is chosen, nor that HV5PUL is put on the air. Lucas said the call sign is active mainly on Saturdays in connection with special occasions such as the opening day of the university's academic year and, of course, the election of a new pope. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Amateur radio test taking hit an all-time high among candidates in Bangladesh recently. John Williams, VK4JJW, is here to explain what happened.
A record number of candidates showed up to take Bangladesh's amateur radio exam on Friday, May 9th, a total estimated at more than 900 participants. The Amateur Radio Society of Bangladesh said on its website that, quote, "This remarkable figure represents the highest number of participants ever recorded for an amateur radio exam in Bangladesh's history," end quote. Weeks of preparation had gone into preparing candidates for the exam by offering online seminars as well as in-person training and workshops. There also was a field day as well as classes in basic electronics and antenna building. The Amateur Radio Society said there was great support from the Bangladesh Vespa community, a community service group of motorized scooter enthusiasts, many of whom also took the exam, which was organized by the Bangladesh Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. It was not yet known how many of the candidates were successful in getting their license. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Ted Randall, WB8PUM, host and founder of the QSO radio show heard on shortwave stations WTWW and WRMI, passed away on Sunday, May 11th after a long illness. Born Ted Randall Klimkowski in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, Ted graduated from Robichaux High School in 1969. Ted was a broadcast engineer in Detroit and later Nashville. His sons, David and Matt, are also engineers. Ted was known for his deep voice and velvety delivery on the QSO radio show. If it was of interest to amateurs, Ted covered it. He also covered the paranormal. He said, quote, "If it flies over your head and can't be identified or goes bump in the night, we'll talk about it," end quote. He did several live shows from just outside the gates of Area 51 in Nevada. Ted was a huge supporter of the amateur radio newsline Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF Young Ham of the Year Award. During his live broadcasts from the Huntsville Hamfest, the QSO radio show was usually the first stop after the presentation for a sit-down on air with Ted. He also did live broadcasts from the Dayton Hamvention. For several years, the Ham Nation television audio was simulcast by Ted on WTWW. He survived by his wife Holly and 2 sons. Fittingly, he was 73 years of age. The FCC's recent request for suggestions about eliminating or modifying any and all regulations has become an opportunity for the ARRL to renew some of its recent proposals to the regulator, as we hear from Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
The ARRL has renewed an earlier plea that the FCC grant HF privileges to technician class radio amateurs. The revival of this proposed change is prominent on a long list the League has drawn up for the Commission, responding to the federal government's goal to eliminate certain FCC regulations or guidelines. The League is asking that technicians gain phone privileges on 80 meters, 40 meters, and 15 meters, along with RTTY and digital privileges. This is not the only previous petition the League is pressing for as part of the Commission's announced changes. It is also asking that sub-band boundaries be adjusted on 80 and 75 meters to correct what is called an imbalance that doesn't reflect the increased presence of digital operations. The ARRL is also underscoring its belief that baud rate and bandwidth limitations should be eliminated on certain amateur LF and VHF-UHF bands. This FCC initiative was announced in its further notice of proposed rulemaking in 2023. The FCC initiative was contained in its docket number 25-133, which has been referred to as the Delete docket. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
There's good news for hams in South Carolina, where a new law will ban most handheld devices from use behind the wheel of a moving vehicle. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, has those details.
South Carolina is about to become the 32nd state in the U.S. to exempt amateur radio operators from a law that bans drivers of motor vehicles from using handheld devices. After it is signed into law by Governor Henry McMaster, the measure is to take effect on September 1st. Although it prohibits drivers from using portable computers, GPS receivers, mobile phones, electronic games, or other communication devices. The bill exempts operators of amateur, citizens band, and commercial and emergency radios. Members of the State Senate and House of Representatives passed different versions of the Hands-Free and Distraction Driving Act earlier this year, overwhelmingly. They recently agreed to resolve the difference in both versions and send it in its final form to the governor. A similar law in Iowa, also a ham radio exemption, is set to take effect on the 1st of July, joining the growing number of states around the U.S. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
A similar law takes effect on the 5th of June in Pennsylvania, where drivers will be banned from using handheld mobile devices while behind the wheel of a moving car. As with many distracted driving laws passed recently, this law also exempts amateur radio operators and emergency responders. The measure is known as Paul Miller's Law, bearing the name of the 21-year-old man struck and killed by a motorist distracted by a phone call in 2010. It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K5 VOM repeater in Greenville, Texas, on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Nominations close on the 31st of this month for Newsline's Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award. Do you know a promising young amateur who's a potential candidate? Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger here in the continental United States. If they have talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio, they might just be this year's award winner. Find application forms on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Awards tab. After a series of delays that pushed its first satellite launch well past its target date of early 2024, Amazon's new broadband internet constellation project has moved ahead with its first liftoff. We have those details from Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
The broadband internet constellation, known as Project Kuiper, is on its way at last, following the launch on Monday, April 28th, of its first 27 satellites from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Amazon envisions its long-anticipated $10 billion project as a direct challenge to the massive SpaceX Starlink network, which dominates the market, as well as Eutelsat, OneWeb, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Ultimately, Project Kuiper will send 3,236 satellites into low Earth orbit, making its global broadband service accessible to rural and underserved regions. A mandate by the U.S. Federal Communications Commission requires Amazon to deploy 1,618, or half, of its satellites by the middle of next year. Analysts speculate that the company may seek an extension on that date as a result of the delays. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
October seems like a long way off, but to planners of the 43rd Annual AMSAT Space Symposium and Annual General Meeting, it's just around the corner. Organizers have already sent out a save-the-date notice for the weekend of October 16th and have published a general schedule that runs for 4 days. Meetings and presentations will be hosted at the Holiday Inns and Suites, Phoenix Airport North in Arizona, convenient to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. The Board of Directors will meet on Thursday, the 16th of October, and again on Friday, the 17th of October, the same day that the symposium presentations will begin. The annual general meeting will be on Saturday, the 18th of October. The morning of Sunday, the 19th of October, the closing day, has been set aside for the members' breakfast. More specific details will be made public as soon as they become available. Dubus, a magazine that is popular with amateurs around the world who focus on VHF and higher frequencies, is posing a challenge and offering a reward. It involves a little radio detective work, as we hear from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The International Ham Radio magazine for enthusiasts operating VHF and up has announced it will award a prize this year to a radio operator studying the scientific validity of global passive WSPR radar in locating aircraft. The theory came to prominence following the use of WSPR log data in the search for the doomed Malaysian flight MH370, which disappeared in 2014 en route to Beijing. The journal, which publishes 4 times a year in English and German, has created this award to mark the 75th anniversary of the DARC and the 100th anniversary of the International Amateur Radio Union. The total prize award is €7,500, the equivalent of $8,450 and is in 3 categories. €1,500 or $1,600 for proof involving large passenger or cargo aircraft, €2,500 or $2,800 for proof involving smaller aircraft, €3,500, almost $4,000 for proof involving helicopters. Studies should be submitted in either English or German and in PDF format to the email address that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org by the entry deadline of the 31st of December. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
In the world of DX, Morton, LA9GY, is using the call sign 3 Delta Alpha 0GY while operating holiday style from Eswatini from the 22nd of May through to the 2nd of June. Morton will be using CW and some SSB, concentrating on 20, 15, and 10 meters. He may also operate on other HF bands. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Listen for Oscar Tango 25 Epic, the special call sign of the Antwerp Port Contest Club, ON8APC, which is on the air to promote this year's edition of the Antwerp Port Epic Cycling Race. The call sign will be on the air between the 10th of May and the 9th of June, which is the day of the race. QSL via Oscar November 8, Juliet, Juliet. The International Amateur Radio Club at ITU headquarters in Geneva is using the call sign 4U0ITU from the 16th of May through to the end of the year. This is to mark the 160th anniversary of the International Telecommunication Union. Jose, HP2AT, is using the special call sign H82AT to mark his 35th anniversary in amateur radio. He's on the air through to the 31st of December. Paper cards are not available. See QRZ.com for details. And we end this week's newscast with the story of some mystery radio signals that are mysteries no more. Thanks to researchers, there's been some station identification. We learn more from Travis Lisk in 3ILS.
Think of them as the dynamic duo of the universe. No, they're not Caped Crusaders, but a red dwarf star and a white dwarf, a dead star. Together, they have been sending a steady radio pulse every 2 hours for at least 10 years. Scientists have heard their transmission, but until recently, no one knew the source of the sounds, which appeared to emanate from the direction of the Big Dipper. This past spring, the signals were found to come from a binary system, 2 stars, that send the pulse by repeated contact between their magnetic fields. Researchers cracked the mystery with the help of a low-frequency array radio telescope. The discovery debunks the long-held belief that only highly magnetized neutron stars, known as magnetars, can emit such pulses. This challenge to the old way of thinking opens up the chance to explore other mysteries and binary systems. Researchers call this binary star system ILTJ1101. Although it sounds like a very large and exotic call sign for this long-distance transmitter, it's not. Still, with all those steady, regular signals over the years, this pair surely deserves some kind of operating award. This is Travis List and 3ILS.
Have you sent in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner will get a shout-out on our website, where everyone can find the winning haiku. But thanks to Amateur News Daily, Amateur Radio Society of Bangladesh, AMSAT, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, David Behar, K7DB, the FCC, the IARU, Luca Della Giovampalo, IW0DJB, QRZ.com, NASA, Radio World, Reuters, Sci News, shortwaveradio.de, South Carolina State House, Space.com, Sustainability Times, the Wireless Institute of Australia, WYFF Channel 4, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW in Picayune, Mississippi, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. All rights are reserved.
It's W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Let's see, I don't have any more announcements or anything that I can think of. Just remind folks, don't forget the Two Rivers Club meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock up there at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department. 7 o'clock. Welcome to John Carter to join us for that. Okay, anybody else wish to check in? Call now.
W3OC, this is KB Kilo Bravo 3 Zebra Lincoln X-ray. Drew, Delmont, no comment. Good evening, everyone.
Please copy November 3 Bravo, Juliet Alpha, David West Buffalo.
You got KB3 Zulu Lima X-ray. Dave, you make it to Dayton.
No, that's a negative.
Okay, nice to hear you. N3BJ. Anybody else? I've got an announcement.
All you people that check in to this net on Thursday night, we do have a 10-meter net, and we'd like to see some of you check into that. It's been a little sparse here lately, and it's a good, fun time on 28460, give or take if it's busy. Usually it's not, but please check in. Bill, KB3WP, and if he's out of town, usually I run the net, but we'd like to see more people get interested in that net also. WH, you back to the net control.
Okay, all right, Gina, thank you for your comments. All right, let's see, do I have anything else? No. Okay, I caught on the check-in list, I caught 22 tonight evening. Good evening for that. Thank you all for taking the time to check in this evening. And we had one on Echolink. I see that too. And anybody else who was just listening to us on on scanners or hand transceivers or something, we're glad that you took the time to listen to our transmissions and this stuff. After all, this is an information net provided to give information about amateur radio operations locally and also internationally and nationally. And with that, we're going to turn the repeater back to General Amateurs. This is Whiskey 3 Oscar Charlie, also known as W3ON, closing the Two Rivers net. Good night.